Hi everyone, and welcome to this comfy guide to I2P, the Invisible Internet Project. Now, I2P is kind of like Tor. It's a parallel darknet on the internet, but there's a couple of important differences. The main difference is that I2P can't be used, at least not by default, to access the ClearNet. So when you download the Tor browser, you can go on that and you can access websites like google.com and other ClearNet websites. But with I2P, unless you set up a proxy with a trusted node that gives you access to the ClearNet, you can't do that by default. You can only access websites within the I2P network, which are known as Eepsites. The other major difference between I2P and Tor is that I2P has every single user be a node. Meanwhile, in Tor, you have to set up a node individually. So for example, there are users on Tor that just use the network, and then there are users who run the Tor daemon and run a node. And there's different tiers of nodes and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot more peer-to-peer than Tor is. And because of that, it's a lot less susceptible to attacks because there's just more people running nodes, as opposed to Tor, where nodes are kind of a select tier of users. I'm here on the official I2P website, and while this does offer us a software we can use to set up I2P, in today's video I'm actually going to be using I2PD, or the I2P daemon, written in C++, and I'm going to set this up on my Linux machine. However, if you're on Windows or Mac OS, you can easily access I2P by clicking the I2PD browser bundle over here, and this will send you to GitHub, where you can download one of the latest executables down here. So in this video, I'm going to first show you how to access the I2P network by configuring a web browser, in my case Librewolf, to connect to the proxy, and then I'm going to show you how to set up your own Eepsite so you can have your own little corner of the darknet, your own little website. And like I said in my Tor video, this video is for educational purposes only. Please don't do anything bad or illegal using the knowledge I give you in this video, and if you do so at your own risk. So the browser I'm going to use in today's video is called Librewolf. You can easily install it from the website, or because I'm on Linux, I'm just going to install it from the command lines. So to install Librewolf, I'm going to use a package manager called Yay. You can also use Paru or any other AUR manager, and I'm going to install Librewolf-bin. And for I2P, I'm going to use I2PD. That's the name of the package. So you can run this command and it's going to start installing all the packages and all that. So I'm not going to do that because I already have them installed, but once you have it set up, you can start the I2P daemon by running sudo systemctl restart I2PD, just like that. And you can check on its status by running sudo journal ctl-feu and then I2PD. And as you can see, it says it started right over here. Alright, so with that, I'm going to open Librewolf and start setting up my browser. And as you can see, it's sort of like a bare bones version of Firefox almost. There's not a lot built in, it's got a lot of privacy features, and while it's not exactly the perfect, most sanitized web browser we can use for I2P, it is a pretty good start. So I'm going to click on the little hamburger menu over here and go to the settings, and I'm just going to scroll down here to the bottom where it says network settings. I'm going to click on settings, and I'm going to click on manual proxy configuration. We're going to set up two proxies, a HTTP proxy and a SOCKS proxy. So I'm going to do 127.0.0.1 over here for the hostname, same thing for the SOCKS proxy because it's just localhost, and the port for HTTP is going to be 4444. Meanwhile, for SOCKS, it's going to be 4447. Now make sure you have it set it to SOCKS version 5 and that you have proxy DNS when using SOCKS version 5 checked over here. Now I'm going to click OK, and now you can navigate to I2P websites. Now this may not work immediately out of the box, and we can check the status of our I2P daemon by going to 127.0.0.1:7070, just like that. So here we have the I2PD web console. It gives us our uptime over here, which is 1 minute 38 seconds as of the latest refresh. And this might take maybe like 10 to 30 minutes depending on your internet to set up all the tunnels and access the I2P network. Now that I've set that up, I'm going to test it by going to an I2P website. So I'm going to go to http://reg.i2p and press enter. Now what's going to happen here is that Librewolf is going to throw a HTTPS only mode alert. So we can disable these by going to the settings and searching for HTTPS, and it's literally right there, HTTPS only mode. I'm going to click on don't enable, just like that. I'm going to close this tab, and if we reload the page and remove the S from the HTTPS, it will load as normal. So this website over here is a registrar for addresses on I2P. If you click on the Alive tab over here, you can see a bunch of currently running I2P websites. Now, these names are first come, first serve, and managed by a centralized database. These aren't necessarily reliable ways to get to websites. Like, for example, if you look for, I don't know, Microsoft.I2P over here, it's not a given that this is owned by Microsoft. In fact, it probably isn't. It's just a random guy who claimed this name on this registrar. Now, I've actually claimed Denshi.I2P. So if you search for Denshi.I2P on this registrar, you can actually find it. And if you click on the domain over here or click on the A or B link, it will actually open up my website and you can start reading it. Yeah, just like that, you can access my website. Your real links on I2P are those really long B32 links, which if you click on a domain, like for example 0.I2P, and hover over here, you can see the full base 32 domain in the bottom left corner, and you can also see it right over here. So this over here is the actual real I2P address that this website points to. And with that, I've shown you how to access I2P. Everything is set up for you to browse the I2P darknet and all the Eepsites you'd ever want to see. The next thing you want to do is run your own website. So over here, I have a comfy guide article, which I'm going to link in the description, which covers how to run your own I2P website. And I have a Debian 12 VPS over here. This VPS has access to various ports and all that. However, you don't need access to ports to run an Eepsite. I know this says 4440 and 8080 over here. Those are really just local ports. You don't actually need those ports open on your system to run an Eepsite. Otherwise, that would kind of defeat the whole purpose of running a website on I2P, which is uncensorable. So I'm going to show you how to set up your own website, and I've already created an example web page. I've located it at var www example over here, and I've created a file called index.html, and all it has is welcome to my Eepsite over here as a little HTML heading 1 over here. So when we connect to our website, at least hopefully we set it up successfully, we'll be able to see this message on there. So the first thing to do is to install the I2P daemon on our VPS. This is pretty easy to do on Debian by following the installation steps outlined over here. So first, we're going to install these basic packages which we need. These are already installed on my system, so they've already been ran. And then I'm going to run this wget command which installs the repository. So I'm going to just copy paste this over here and press enter. And as you can see, it's added the apt repository. So we now have access to it. If we run apt update, we can see that I2P repository right over here. The next thing we want to do is install I2PD, and we can do that by running apt install I2PD and then -y to automate it and press enter. This might take a little while because it's a little bit of a big package, but once it's done, it will automatically start I2PD, and we can actually check the status by running journal ctl-feu I2PD, just like that. And as you can see, it started I2PD. I'm going to quickly make sure that our website is owned by NGINX so we can access it. I'm going to run chown-r and then www.data:/www.data for user and group. And I'm going to give it ownership over var www, just like that, to make sure that everything is set up correctly. Alright, so the next part is actually setting up the hidden service. So the way that this is going to work is we're going to run our website on NGINX, which is our web server, and we're going to proxy the traffic from I2P to our NGINX server. So that's going to be done by setting a port on NGINX that we open our website to, and then giving our I2P router access to that port and labeling it correctly. So we can easily set up the I2P side of this by using Vim or Nano or whatever text editor you want to use, and going to etc I2PD and then tunnels.com. Now if we open this up, as you can see, there's a default configuration for IRC. I'm just going to go through and delete this because we actually don't need it. And I'm going to set up our example, which is just copy pasting this example from the comfy guide. So this over here sets up an example tunnel. It's of type HTTP, which gives us, the type of traffic. It's on the host 127.0.0.1. The port is 8080. I'm going to change it to something a little bit less generic. Let's say 7676. That's probably good. And the key is going to be example.dat. Now I2P is going to automatically generate that address for us when it runs, so we don't have to worry about it. Now if you want a vanity address, kind of like what I did in my Tor tutorial, you can go to the generating vanity address section on the Comfy Guide, and it will guide you on how to create a custom B32 domain. So I don't know, maybe you want it to start with Denshi, kind of like mine does. So like if you open up our I2P browser over here and look for my Denshi.I2P address, as you can see it starts with Denshi, and that was done basically by brute forcing the key. I'm not going to do that in today's video because it takes a little bit of time for any word longer than a few letters, but if you want that little vein sort of looking thing, you can set it up if you want to, just by following this guide over here. You can also set up an authentication string for a registrar. This, with the same repository from before, allows you to set up your custom domain. So for example, if you want to have example.I2P be our domain, you can do that using this guide. I'm not going to cover it today because it's one of those other things which takes a little bit of time to do, but if you want to, you can basically just run these two commands using the tools which are installed in the previous section. So that's pretty straightforward to do. In the previous section, we set up that little example tunnel over here. We set it up with port 7676 and with example.dat. Now example.dat hasn't been created yet, so we're just going to restart I2PD and it's going to create that key for us. So we're going to run systemctl restart I2PD, and now if we list var lib I2PD, as you can see, it's created it over there, example.dat. We can use this printf command with a bunch of other crazy tools. I don't know if all these are built into my system, so I run it. There you go. XXD isn't built in, so I'm going to apt install XXD over there with the -y option. And after running that, if you copy paste this command over here into your terminal and then go and set it up to run it with I2PD example.dat and press enter, as you can see, it gives us our address. Oh wow, our address has the word bomb in it. What are the odds of getting like an actual word in your I2P address? That must be like 1 in a million or something. That's crazy. It's also kind of a concerning word for YouTube. I hope I don't get banned for having the heinous word bomb in my I2P address, but there it is right there. So with that, we have the I2P side of our server set up. Now we actually have to set up the website, which is pretty easy to do. So I'm going to use Vim to do it. I'm going to go to Vim, Etsy, NGINX, sites enabled, and I'm going to call it example.I2P, just like that. I'm going to press enter, and I'm going to copy paste the default configuration in here. It's pretty much the same as what's left in here since we put our website in var www example, but I'm going to change the port to 7676, kind of like what we were talking about earlier with the tunnels. Now, since I've placed it in sites enabled, I don't have to link it or anything, so I can just run systemctl restart NGINX and press enter, and that should have been pretty much it. It should have set up everything on I2P. Oh, and if I haven't mentioned it earlier, go look at my NGINX guide for a guide on how to install the NGINX packages and set all that up. However, I'm assuming if you're setting up a website like this, you already have NGINX installed, and so you can just copy paste this configuration and it should work for you. Alright, so with that, we should be able to browse to our aforementioned I2P address and be able to see our website. So I'm going to copy paste this word, this heinous I2P address with the word bomb in it, and copy paste it into our I2P browser over here and see what it redirects to. So I'm going to add a HTTP there at the beginning and press enter, and hopefully this will open up our website. And as you can see, it says, welcome to my Eepsite. So we've successfully set up an I2P website in this video. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this comfy guide on how to set up your very own I2P website and how to connect to the I2P network. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, this video is for educational purposes only. I'm not responsible for anything bad that happens to you or anyone else by using the service. And yeah, with that, I've been Denshi. This has been a comfy guide to I2P. Goodbye.